Hey, we're joined here by head coach, basketball coach, Coach Marlin, and Coach, we appreciate you giving us a little time. We haven't been able to sit down with you this fall practice season and talk a little bit about basketball, but we appreciate you giving us a few minutes. Talk a little bit about practice. You guys had a recent scrimmage here, and how things are going with some of the new faces. Well, a lot of new faces, 6 freshmen on this roster.
Practice off to a good start, BJ. We were fortunate that this summer the NCAA passed a rule allowing us to use 2 hours per week with the guys that were here in summer school, and we had 10 of our 11 scholarship players here. So the 5 freshmen that we brought in, plus the redshirt freshmen, were able to get some quality work done this summer, get us a little bit ahead of the game. We've had good fall workouts also, and then the beginning of practice officially on October 12th. The last 2 weeks we've made good progress with this group, and moving forward and getting closer to where we need to be and being able to play a game. We did scrimmage for the first time on Saturday and had a good inter-squad scrimmage. Some guys stepped up and did a good job in that scrimmage. Several guys scored the ball. Our defense was good at times. And we came out the next day and watched the film and made some adjustments, and then have had 2 really good practices since then, and actually had another inter-squad scrimmage yesterday before the football game and saw much improvement in that scrimmage. So we're encouraged by the guys that we have coming in to the team this year and what they've been able to accomplish so far. We just got to keep pushing the envelope every day and getting ready for our game against Oakland on November 11th.
Coach, what are some of the challenges of when you're dealing with a younger roster and a younger group of kids compared to maybe returning some upperclassmen? Do you have to kind of take a step back sometimes and slow the learning process down because maybe there's much more teaching involved than maybe with a group that has more experience?
Usually you would, and that's, again, having the summer as a little bit of extra time as freshmen, we were able to get a little bit of head start. And we've talked as a staff, BJ, about the last couple of years. We've played a tough non-conference schedule, and we've struggled. We've not done as well in non-conference as we probably should have. We turn around in the league, and we've done well the last 2 years, finishing 2nd, 4th in our league, respectively. And now we've got a young group where we need more time, basically, and our schedule may be the most difficult we've had in non-conference. And so we've got to keep moving forward, and this is a very attentive group. They're patient with us, and we've been patient with them. They're fun to work with, and every day we're getting better on the practice court. So it's encouraging. These guys look at it as an opportunity to step right in and play and make a contribution to our basketball program.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, Coach, the fine balance of the balance of a preseason schedule, because obviously, you know, when you play a tough schedule and you have a young team and maybe you lose a few games up front, you're kind of dealing with you're dealing with the whole idea of confidence there. But then again, if you play a not so challenging schedule, then you really don't challenge your team, and then you get in a conference and you might have a problem there. So is it kind of a balance when you're looking at scheduling? And
it has to be. It's hard to schedule at this level. We talked about this a little bit earlier, BJ, and with the freshmen, we would like to take our time and not play as many games as early as we do, back them up a little bit, give us a little bit more practice time. And some coaches like to play a schedule where you can have success early and gain confidence instead of playing a very tough schedule and getting beat up, bruised up a little bit, and losing games and losing confidence. So we try to have a mixture of both. We want to challenge our young men each time we go out on the floor. And we're worried about how we play and what we can control. We can't control whether we're playing Michigan State or Robert Morris. What they're going to do, we're just going to go out there and focus on what we do and try to execute and do it well and get better each time out. And there's nothing like experience in the games and on the road in college basketball. And our young team this year is going to pick up that experience very quickly.
Let's take another little minute on scheduling, Coach. And when you talk about scheduling, there's some talk, and maybe there's going to be some movement in the future here in the Sun Belt to start playing Sun Belt games a little later in the schedule now. Is that something that you would like or favor? I know some of the coaches in the league like it. I don't know where do you guys stand on that?
We certainly like playing after Christmas, and next year it's my understanding that we're going to go to an 18-game schedule instead of a 20, and we'll play teams from our division twice, and then we'll turn around and play teams from the other side once, and a couple teams we'll play twice on the Eastern Division. side, but we like pushing it back. We'll play 3 games in a week, and you'll play Saturday, Monday, Thursday, for example, and play Monday games, which is not a problem with the coaches at all. We'd rather do that and free up some space to schedule non-league games in November and December.
Okay. Coach, let's talk about the roster a little bit. And obviously in the backcourt, you return Alfred Payton and Bryant Monbalou and Alan Michael Thompson are 3 that probably got the majority of the playing time last year that are returning on the roster. There's some experience, and there's also a little bit of depth there. Do those guys give you some leadership back there, obviously?
Yes, they've been in the program the longest, and Alfred's the point guard on our team, lead guard, and he's done a very good job serving as a captain and helping these younger guys grow, as well as Alan Michael, our lone senior, and then Bryant, who's been here longer than anyone on our roster.
So now you kind of mix into some younger kids. I think you mentioned a couple of names that you mentioned in the previous press conference was Stephen Ronikowski and also a young man out of Houston, Texas, named Casey Shepard. Those 2 names kind of came up a little bit in your conversation with our last one.
Both those guys are fine young men. They have good basketball IQ. They want to get better. They come early. They stay late in the gym. And they've got bright futures in front of them. And all of our freshmen they're the foundation of our program for the future, and they're impressive young men. Casey, Stephen, Josh Soto, Cornell Barnett, Matt Moss, Sean Long. These guys all bring different things to our team, but they're all good young men who are excited about being part of the team and representing the Raging Cajuns.
Now, Coach, a little bit of maybe on a little bit of background on Ronikowski. Is he a kid who can maybe help you out with some small forward or on the wing, and can he do a little bit of both?
Absolutely, and we're planning on him doing both. And could he play some power forward? We'll have to wait and see. It'll be a mismatch situation if that happens. But Stephen played at St. Thomas Aquinas for Aero Golf, did a nice job for him over his career and produced good numbers and won a lot of ball games. And he was the biggest guy on his team at times, and he guarded the center on the other teams, and he's a tough competitor. And he's used to battling and doing that against bigger body players. So we feel comfortable that defensively he'll get in and compete and do that. And on the offensive end, he's got guard skills and a great left hand, so he's going to be able to cause some mismatch problems in the offensive end of the court.
And Casey Shepard, is he a kid that is basically, you know, obviously you signed him to help you out at point guard, but he's a combo as well?
He's a combo, exactly. He averaged double figures in high school, scored 27 in the Houston area basketball coaches all-star game to get the MVP of that game, and we'll play with Alfred some. He shoots the ball in the perimeter a little bit better than Alfred does at this stage, and can handle the ball too. So his versatility will let him have an opportunity to get on the floor more.
No, obviously, Coach, a name that a lot of Cajun fans have listened over the past since he transferred in, Sean Long, and a kid who's brings a lot of physical talent to the table. But where's Sean at, and how's he progressing?
He's doing well. He's really accepted the coaching and structure, and the academic plan that we have in place for him. And this summer and fall, he's really made some great strides, and he's been a leader on our team also. He wants to win. He loves to play the game, and he's got a little bit of added weight on his shoulders because he's the biggest young man that we have on our team at 6'9", 245, and he's going to be asked to carry part of the load inside, and he's got to stay in the game without getting in foul trouble, and we're going to depend on him to score and rebound the ball for us. But he's doing well and has a chance to be a very good player.
You know, Coach, you bring up Sean's height and weight, and there's a couple other kids, and maybe there's Matt Moss and Cornell Barnett. You know, if they get an opportunity to get some minutes as true freshmen, they're going to have to help you out on the boards a little bit as well.
They need to. And Cornell's a very good rebounder. That's his strength. He's a banger. He's a power forward that can get in there and rebound the basketball and loves contact. He's missed practice the last few days. He got hit upside the head, and he's been resting a little bit. We're trying to get him back out hopefully the next day or two. Matt Moss is a face-up guy. He'd rather face up than play with his back to the basket, and we knew that recruit him. His strength is shooting the basketball and not rebounding it. He's a better shooter and passer. He can score inside some, and he can rebound the ball, but it's something that's not his strength.
Now, Coach, going with this team, and this is again we're going to hear this phrase a lot this year: young team and a young roster. What is going to be your challenge in the Sun Belt this year? Because the Sun Belt is a tough league, and it has been, and it's gotten better almost every year. Knowing the type of style and teams that are in the Sun Belt, what is going to be the challenge with this group?
Well, we've got to take each game as it comes, and there's nothing wrong with being young, first of all, and that's what we are. We're realistic about it, and we picked today in the polls based upon our returning experience, and only having one senior indicates that we certainly were picked based on our returning experience by the other coaches, and it picked us to eight out of 11 teams in the league. But we're going to have to go into the schedule, not even before Sun Belt, but in the early schedule, playing at Boise State, at New Mexico State, at Michigan State, and then we have middle at home starting conference very earlier than we ever have before December 1st, and then go to North Texas. So we've got a very challenging schedule early, and we're going to have to keep these freshmen pushing forward and try and improve each and every time out and learn. So when we get to conference play, going against some experienced teams, as you said, BJ, and some teams with size, to hang in there and play and get better each year. And then our goal is to win the league and win the tournament. And the tournament being the most important thing, because the team that's won the league the last 2 years hasn't won the tournament.
One thing about preseason polls, Coach, they don't really mean much when you get on the floor and start playing basketball.
No, it's for the fans and for the media to gauge, and a lot of times they're accurate, but it's hard to pinpoint how some teams are going to play and how the season's going to unfold. And the postseason polls are the ones that are the most important, and that's where we'd like to finish up the top and have players that make the all-conference team. A year ago we had a guy that was preseason first-team all-league, and he didn't even finish the season for us. So you can never tell about the early polls. Arkansas State had the same situation a year ago. So.
Right. Now, Coach, we've kind of touched upon some of the roster, and there's some names on there we didn't really discuss, and we're gonna come back and visit those later. Hopefully next week, maybe when we get a chance to sit down with you and talk a little bit more, maybe on our show. But talk a little bit about your staff, and kind of tell us about, because you got some changes on your staff, and you got a new face there.
Yeah, Sean Forrest is a young man that came to us from North Texas. He had been there for 4 years, did an outstanding job at UNT, and helped recruit those players that are there that are picked first in our division. Before, he was at Arkansas State with Dickie Nutt for 6 years and had a lot of success there. And then he actually was at Florida A&M for 1 year and at Troy for a couple years before that. So he spent a lot of time in the Sun Belt, and he and his family, he's got 3 young daughters, are a welcome addition to our university and our program and our community.
And just kind of go over the staff. I know you staff Coach Harden, so you could kind of go over the staff and maybe their positions, what they're doing this year.
Yeah, Neil Harden's a guy that's been with us since we started our staff here and does a good job for us. Kevin Johnson, another Louisiana native, has a wealth of experience in the state from a recruiting standpoint and a coaching standpoint, has really good contacts and an excellent coach. And then Brock Morris is our director of basketball operations, and we're fortunate that we kept Brock. He had a couple opportunities to get out and possibly get on the road at other institutions, and we were able to keep him here for another year. So we like our staff, our makeup. We're going to add LaRon Gary is going to be back as graduate assistant in January, and we look forward to having him be around to help these young guys through the conference for the first time around.
It's always good to have ex-players come back and be involved with the program, Coach. And of course, as you said, LaRon's going to be a great assistant to be able to help you guys with these young kids and be able to work with them. We appreciate you sitting down and talking with us a little bit today, Coach. And we look forward to sitting down and talking to you sometime next week again.
Thanks, BJ.
Thank you, Coach.